Oh, son of a bitch.
Hello.
What?
Oh, no.
No, it's just, sometimes you forget to mute the Twitch stream before you set yourself
Oh,
live.
sure. I've been there.
And then you just echo. Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to MangaPod. I'm Erin.
I'm Dodger.
And I'm Moika. Hi.
We are a podcast in which we all get together after we read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week we are talking Haikyuu, chapters 37 through 77. How are all of y'all? How you doing? We good?
Us or chat?
Yeah, who?
Us or the viewers? Yes.
We are also missing Lou, our lovely fourth co-host. He is not here again this week, but if you guys want to go ahead and send him some love on Twitter and let him know that we're thinking about him, you definitely should. His Twitter is Lou Talks Anime. We love him so much and we miss him. We just love him.
Yep.
If you guys, announcement. If you guys haven't, get out of here. Okay. If you guys haven't heard, we are on
Us?
Yes, you guys. Or chat. I don't know.
Goodbye.
I doing this Haikyuu by myself now. We are currently audio streaming now as well. We are on Spotify and iTunes. So if you want to go and check that out, we have, I think, 6 or 7 episodes. They usually go out the same week that we record them. 6?
Yeah, 6.
6 episodes, so you can go ahead and check that out. We were the #1 manga podcast on Spotify. Super exciting. Thank you all so much.
Let's keep it rolling.
Did I do it right?
#1 manga podcast ever.
Ever.
In the world.
Nailed it. We got it. So thank you guys so much for listening on there. Let's go ahead. If you guys have never joined us for a manga pod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga that we read, aka summary, and then we will give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether you think we should, wrong way, wrong pronouns in the wrong spot, whether we think you should go and read the manga or not. That way, if it sounds like something you're interested in before we get to spoiler section, you can hear that, then take your leave once we get there. And then you can come back and watch the VOD on youtube.com/happilyerin, where all the previous manga pods are hosted, as well as listen to it on any audio streaming. So I am going to go ahead and read the description for it. Sorry. Felt like I had something in my tooth.
That's okay.
Felt very weird.
You have to be ready to read these potentially year-long summaries. So
it's true. It took me about 5 searches to find one that wasn't 4 paragraphs.
There's so much to say.
There's so much to say about Haikyuu.
Apparently.
All right. Haikyuu is a slice-of-life sports anime revolving around Shoyo Hinata's love of volleyball, which he got after he watched The Little Giant on TV. Inspired by a small-statured pro volleyball player, The Little Giant, Hinata creates a volleyball team in his last year of middle school. Unfortunately, the team is matched up against the king of the court, Tobio Kageyama's team, in their first tournament, and they inevitably lose. After the crushing defeat, Hinata vows to surpass Kageyama. After entering high school, Hinata joins the volleyball team, only to find that Tobio has also joined. They really swapped out names there all over.
Yeah. Wait, who's Tobia? Oh, right.
Kageyama. Okay.
Who's Kageyama? Oh, the king of the court. Oh, okay.
Not the little giant. Who's
all
Hinata?
Right.
Wait,
who's the little giant?
Who?
Oh.
Wait. Ooh, Dukes, you got pixelated.
You got pixelated for me.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Wait, Moika's kind of pixelated. Is this my internet?
Suck up all my good pixels. Girl. Ooh. Yes.
Oh my god. Pixels. Welcome to
Doctor
ASMR.
looks weird. Come on.
They censored her. Her dab was too good.
I can't believe this. They were too late. The dab got out there.
Oh, there you're back.
Cool. Great.
Cool. Spoiler free recommendation.
I can go first.
Oh, go ahead.
Or you can go first.
Go.
I was just gonna say I really enjoy this manga this time around because this is our second time reading it. The first time I did not enjoy it. I was very overwhelmed with all the jargon and how they displayed the learning about the rules, and the characters just felt all over the place and it just hadn't defined itself very well. But near the very end of that reading is where it started to pick up and I really started to enjoy it. And I knew after reading it, one of the things I noted then was that when the anime came out, I knew I was going to really like the anime because it would just be the flow and animation was going to help it, which ended up being 100% true. So I was very excited to come back and read this manga. So if you're looking for a sports manga, this is definitely one of the top tier happening right now recently. The characters are awesome and wholesome, and it's got matches that are done really well. They know when to hype the intensity and when to pull it back a little bit more. And I think it's definitely one that if you're interested in sports manga to definitely check out, as well as if you're interested in character-driven stories too. So, and the art is really, really cool.
So I have not watched the anime. I still haven't. I think I'm gonna put that on my quarantine to watch list. But I had the same issues that I had last time, to be honest. I enjoyed the characters more, and yeah, the art is fantastic. It got even better in what we read. But they still threw a lot of jargon out there. They had the like classic moments of like, oh, there's somebody on the sidelines who just happens to be explaining it to, another person on the sidelines. They did a lot of that, and even still, there were a lot of moments when reading it where I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm just gonna assume that it means they're gonna have an advantage somehow. I also, another issue that I had when we read it the first time was a lot of same face syndrome. I felt like I still had an issue with that. So for me, it was still a good read. It was still fun. I don't know if I would recommend it. I'm not sure, because from what I understand, a lot of people say that the anime is so good. And now that I've read up to chapter 77 and I've had the same kind of issues of feeling sort of blah about it, aside from liking the characters, I don't know if I would recommend the manga or not. But it wasn't a bad read. It was just a lot of moments where I felt like I wasn't really reading anything. I was just kind of being talked at about volleyball. So yeah, it's been all right both times. And again, from what I understand, the anime is fantastic. So if you're aiming for one or the other, I would probably recommend the anime, even though I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I was gonna add on to mine, like what you're saying. I definitely suggest watching the anime instead of reading the manga. Like I should have said that at the start, but yeah, I would 100% say watch the anime if you're interested in it. So cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. That's all my feelings.
I've read. Obviously, I've read it now, and I've watched the anime first. So between those two, I'm a little half and half. Depends on what you're more into. If you like learning more about the characters, I would recommend the manga, because there's a lot of little there's more little interactions, and even in the manga they just do little like character pages where they do like a sketch of the character, and then they do like the name, what they do, blah blah blah. And usually there's like little things, like I remember the girls volleyball captain, there was like a side note that was like her current worry that people say that she has very chunky thighs.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. It's just like little small. I like characters. So it's just like, oh, that's
Yeah.
like really neat to know, even though it's like in the scheme of things, it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
so
often
it's
are we
just
going to see
kinda-
that character? Like,
yeah.
never, but still, yeah.
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 So for me, I like reading about that, like little details like that. So I definitely like that. But the anime is super solid. The animation is gorgeous. The music's great. It's just if you don't have the time to read, just watch it.
Yeah. The opening songs are always so good for Haikyuu anime.
I do have to say, I don't know how well it translates into the anime, but the goofs in the manga always play well to me. That is one thing that I will absolutely give it, is that when the mangaka is aiming for something to just be like a one-off goof, it always lands for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's a combination of like the way that people's faces look and like the timing is really good. So
yeah.
yeah. That
It
part is great.
never feels like it's just distracting from the moment, like out of place.
Yeah.
The humor is really good. Cool. Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on? Otherwise, we will hop on over to the spoilers.
Cool. Let's do it.
Okay. Before we get to spoiler section, just so you guys know, we do not want any. Sorry.
It's cool. It's all part of the dance called life.
Our
Keep going.
timing is so off today.
It's all
I
good.
dance. I step upon your feet too many times, my love.
Continue.
We asked for no spoilers past chapter 77. Now that we are hopping into spoiler section, please, we do not like spoilers. Rotten bacon butts, you people who spoil, we ban, we time out, we do all of that stuff. All right, let's go in.
5, 4,
3,
3,
2,
2,
1. You know what? Volleyball.
I was gonna say, is
Volleyball.
volleyball god?
Volleyball. I feel like the title is always just gonna be what our god is from now on. Haikyuu is god.
We don't have it's very rare for us to read something and have that Lou vibe of like, this character is literally the best character and everybody else is garbage. Like, I think it's really hard for the three of us to pick out somebody and be like, they're god, obviously.
Yeah.
So we default to things like volleyball is god, chat. And that's how it is. Anyways, let's talk about March Madness.
Yes, our March Madness Manga Sports Month. Let's start. I mean, we kind of already touched on it, but since it has been years since we read this for the first time, what were your guys' thoughts going in? The question we like to start with is, what were your guys' what happened to you?
Nothing. I'm gonna, when I have the floor, I'm gonna say a thing.
Ooh.
I'm scared.
It's not important. It doesn't. Anyway, keep going.
Volleyball's god. We like to ask the question, what are you expecting before going into this manga or not? I think Dodger wants to go first.
All I was gonna say is, I couldn't remember who was on the team. So it had been so long that like fucking headband boy is over there like doing deep dives into what everybody's doing, and then it took me so long to remember he's the coach. I was like, when the fuck is he gonna play? He's out there just like bitching about everybody. He's not even playing. That's because he's the coach, chat. It took me so long.
Surprise!
What a slacker, just sitting on the bench the whole time, not caring about getting on the court.
I could not remember. And the same face issue, I think, really caused problems for me. I remembered maybe like, obviously, Kageyama and Hinata. I remembered those two. And then everybody else, it was like a really long trickle. Short, powerful short boy. Obviously, I remember adoring him, so I remembered him. I remembered tall mean boy, and that was it. Everybody else was a blur for me. I was like, I don't know. I don't know who's the captain. I don't know who's the other setter. I don't remember shit about this manga.
And I bet it did not help that we came into halfway through the match with the other team that's literally carbon copies of these characters.
Yes.
So I'm gonna guess that did not help at all. It was the match against the Black Cats. Were they the cats? I'm trying to remember. Because the crows versus
they
were the cupcake team. All I know is they kept throwing that term around.
So the first team was Nekoma.
Yeah, so the cats.
Yeah, the cats. So but in the end they lost to them.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, that would have been very confusing to have that.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second round was into Date Technical, which was like the Iron Wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That was a good match. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, which was the first match of the tournament that they played in. Yeah, because Nekoma was the practice match, and then Wall Dudes were the first match, and then the second match was the captain's old playmate. Was he on the Iron Wall team? Or was he the next one? Okay.
No, he was he was in Nekoma, wasn't he?
No. So the captain had a friend from his old team who was playing on another team that they played against. I'm trying to remember if he was on the Iron Wall team or if he was in the second match.
All I remember is that they had a classic flashback where that guy was like, I remember being super jazzed when practice would get canceled, but not you. You were different. That's how much you loved volleyball. That's all I remember.
Yeah. That guy.
That guy.
So what was I gonna say? Oh, somebody in chat asked where chapter 77 ended. It ended after they lost the tournament and we're starting their studying thing.
Yeah, and we're reminded, hey, by the way, you can't fail a class and still be on the volleyball team. Yeah. And like half of them were like, fuck. So we had quite a few chapters in a row there that was them being like, I'm bad at school.
Which is super also part of a sports anime. Anime manga. It's always okay. We'll get into all of that. Finishing the what were you expecting going into it? Malika, have you read it? You haven't read it before. Oh no. How dare you?
No, I hadn't. So I was really excited to get to read it finally.
Did you expect it to be like the anime, or what were your expectations going into it?
Going into this, I was expecting like the actual volleyball stuff itself to not be as clear as in the anime, because the anime is really, I mean, it animates the matches really well. Oh, it's so good stuff.
It's so good.
Thinking about it. So I was thinking that it was gonna be a little bit more messier for some reason. So I was really glad to see that, even though yes, some of the characters do have a little bit of same face syndrome. I mean, it was still pretty clear, so I was happy about that.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like my entire viewpoint on it changed after watching the anime. Like, I was so much more excited to come in to reading it again since I had watched the anime. And so I feel like if I hadn't watched the anime, I would have not been as excited jumping in to it again. So let's talk. Should we talk about what were your guys' favorite matches? Let's talk about what your favorite match was, and then we can talk about that first. Because there is a few, and like sometimes going in order is just like, oh, okay. But do you guys have a favorite match that you would like to start talking about first?
I mean, my favorite match was definitely the last one that they did, because it was a lot of focus, not just on the match and like strategy, but on directly tackling what's wrong with Kageyama. So I really liked that. I liked that was a major focus of it, was like, Kageyama, you're obviously getting way too in your head and you're getting too fast and we need to pull you out and put another setter in there. And having him like watch another setter, you know, encourage people and like check in with them and find out how they're doing, and him be like, I don't want to do that. And everybody's like, too bad. Look at the setter. That's your job. I liked that. I liked that whole aspect to that match.
And I liked part of that too, because Suga, I love little baby Suga, my little white-haired, mole under the eye, suffer for life character.
Isn't he also the character in your freaking meme gif that you use all the time?
Yep. Yes, he is.
Okay.
Hold on.
Great.
I feel like I need to play that video.
Now you have to show it to everybody. I know.
On,
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even said anything.
How do I put video on here? Let's see.
You can literally just drag it in.
I can drag it in from YouTube?
Oh, from YouTube. I don't know.
I don't have it saved.
Can you just do a screen cap? Just do a screen cap of just a screen
cap. Should I post
works.
The video or should I just post the GIF? I can post the GIF. I have that. Listen,
I think
guys.
you should post the Isn't the video on your channel? I think you should just post the video and chat a bunch.
Okay, I'll hang on. I'll do it.
Any of you who are listening to this audio only in the future, you're missing out on absolute gold.
It's the best video. Where the fuck is it?
Just kidding. It was taken down for being inappropriate.
Where is it? Guys, keep talking.
Okay.
Okay. I'll talk about little things about characters.
Go for it.
The one from Date, that he's like, oh, he's a scary dude. He looks scary, but he's good. He's cute on the inside. And one of his worries is that when he goes on trains, he's always like, he's always sad that people don't want to sit by him because they're scared of him.
Oh, sweetheart.
I love him.
I liked that at the end of their match, he had a very pointed handshake with Hinata. I was like, oh, Hinata, you've been acknowledged.
Oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
Too many characters.
There are a lot of characters. Yeah. It's really, I mean, I've already established it's hard for me to keep them all straight and remember who everybody is. But I do like them, and I do find myself getting invested in them. You know, the whole classic, like, are the third years gonna continue to play volleyball, or should they just bow out now? I was like, no. No, don't.
Play.
Let them play.
Yes.
Let them in.
Let
you
them
found
in.
it.
I did. Finally. Hold on.
Thank
No,
goodness.
I typed it into Google because YouTube was like not giving it to me.
Oh yes. Click.
Posting it in chat a bunch. Don't ban me per bot.
I forgot exactly what this video was.
Oh my gosh. Wait. Can I put... Listen.
I forgot how good this video is.
It's so stupid. I love it.
So stupid. Oh, oops. It's the best video in the entire world.
I like how your comment is the very first one at the top that says, it's been 2 years and this is still so good.
And then if you go down 3 more, my other comment is most important video 2014 and beyond.
Oh my God.
2014! Guys.
It's been so long. Okay. But yeah, Suga's my boy.
Suga.
The best.
Sweet boy.
Best video. So what I liked about him as a setter with the whole Kageyama thing is that even though him as a character, his personality is very reserved, it's the loving, like, mama, they call him the mama of the team. So he's like that very, like, encouraging but scolding when he needs to. And something I liked about him getting taken out as the lead setter is that he wasn't happy about it. Like, he understood, but it still like made him more competitive and made him be like, I wish I had been the setter that helped us win this team. Even though he's proud of Kageyama and what he's doing, he's still got that competitive, like, I wish it was me, without making anybody else feel bad. It's just his, like, honest, like, and he's allowed to feel that kind of emotion, but you don't really... I feel like it was one of the first times that I had read where the character that got replaced as the first string was allowed to be like, hey, I'm angry about this. I am angry about this happening, even though it makes sense and I'm not as good as him. And so I thought that was interesting. I really liked that.
I liked the moment when he was subbed out and Kageyama went back in. Mm-hmm. And he was about to say, like, all right, now it's your turn to go win it. And he stopped himself. It was like, let's win this, right? Because it was hard for him to acknowledge, like, that Kageyama would be the setter in there when they won. Mm-hmm. But on the surface, like on the outside, it's very, we're a team. Let's all win this together, right? But because we had the context there, that's not all that it was. I liked that. It was subtle.
It was what was I gonna say? Something about Kageyama. The way he like realized that he wanted to be more like Suga, and so he was like, nice. Like the picture that we have for Lou today. And so just the fact that he was trying really hard, and I think it helped with this character too to take him from like Sasuke more into the dorky boy like that he is. Yeah, the dorky tsundere, which I love so much out of because that happens quite often. It's a trend now in sports anime and manga to have that kind of character who's the prodigy, who's really serious and takes everything and is really intense and angsty. And then you just have them as you get further and further, you learn that they're not mean. They're just really weird goobers who have like a superiority complex. And so it was nice to see him start adapting to the people who spike instead of just the forcing them into what he thought they should do. And I think having his old teammate on the team against him really helped solidify the fact that he was changing a little bit there.
We got good narration for everything that was going on from that guy, because he kept insisting, like, I know him and I know how he's going to behave and I know what he's going to do and I know it's going to rattle him. And so to have these moments where Kageyama, like in the middle of a match, is trying to behave differently in order to win, and then getting the response from his old teammate about that and how like annoying it was for him. Yeah. I also liked that this moment here where he really tried to utilize that skill was with this dude that he hates. Right? I think that was also nice, that it was not nice. Yeah, that it wasn't just with a character that he has good rapport with. It was with somebody that he doesn't get along with well at all.
Yeah, that was an interesting decision about who to have to show it with. I didn't think about that, because they could have totally had it been Shoyo, like Hinata, that he showed it with, but we have seen their character dynamics so much. Like, they're still very much the duo who are gonna beat everybody together. And so to have it be with Tsukishima was a very good choice on their part. I also really liked this match because even though it's at the point in the manga where it has to have them lose, which is a very standard story arc for sports manga, is that especially the ones that are kind of having a comeback, they have to have the uplifting, they are winning, but then they go against a team and they play kind of equally, but overall they are not up to the same level as that team. So they have to lose. They can't go to the semifinals or the finals. Like, they have to lose it earlier on.
Especially in a story where the focus is on, like, can we work as a team? And it's obvious that everybody is still learning to work as a team. Like, you need that match, that really important match that everybody loses so that they realize, like, we're still not there yet, you know?
Yeah. But we still had the moments where you're like, holy shit, like, they might be able to do this. Not as often as other sports manga are able to do, but there was still a time too where the mangaka understood when to ramp up the tension in the match and when to slow it down a little bit more. And so the last few points of the match and the last few chapters of that match suddenly, like, picked up speed so quick. It was just like, oh, they're really going. There's no more explanation. It's just like bam, bam, bam. And I just, like, I don't know. I thought that part was really well done. Just having that tension ramp up there really made the effect of them losing hit a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And they lost to Okinawa, who, even though he's that prodigy of one of the best and, like, can do stuff on his own, the fact that he already is like, no, we're part of a team. He's like, I'm part of a team. Like, he's solidified that. And I think that's a really good juxtaposition to where Kageyama is at. And in terms of learning each of his setters and each of his teammates, or not setters, but each of his teammates. So to have a character who is the top tier, almost the best, already being a good teammate, I think is a really nice choice too, because we're going to get those characters who don't get how to be team players or anything like that. So it's nice to have characters who already are really strong and have the team play down.
Yeah, they put a lot of focus on what we read this time. There was a lot of focus story-wise on, like, this is a teammate that you can rely on, or this is a teammate that snaps everybody out of a gloom, or, like, lots of how can these people with their specific personality contribute to like the inspirational aspect of playing a game. And so we saw that exemplified, like, in Suga and in Short Kid.
Nishinoya, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so because they put so much focus on that, I think, to me, that says that there will be a lot of focus on watching the first years, like, grow into being that person. So that's fun.
Dude, when he stopped Okinawa for spike or whatever, his first serve, that was so good. I was like, oh shit, setting the stage. Proud.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, I really liked about so Okinawa is like Oikawa.
I know, I keep calling it Okinawa.
It's fine.
The cool thing about Oikawa is that he is kind of like the villain that everyone cheers for just because he's like has it all. He's like he's handsome. He's like a great leader. He has great skill, and it's just like you hate him because he's just so good at everything, and he's also really smug.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was really interesting where they showed you all those qualities in this match, but at the same time there was like a little bit in there where one of the chapters was like a flashback to when Tobio had just joined like earlier on in that team, and Oikawa had just like snapped at him because it was like, I really want to win nationals, like I can't be bothered to be doing this shit for you, like you figure it out on your own. So it was really cool to like see him be like, oh, he's like grown from that, and that's why he knows Tobio so well, is because he at some point he was like him. He was like Kageyama. So it was just good.
Good little parallels there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Iron Wall match. How do you guys feel about that? It definitely wasn't the same tier of the final match that we read, but I thought there was a few really good moments in there too, because it really helped solidify Hinata as the decoy. Yeah, and the moments where they would have Hinata front forward and then slowly show the other characters behind him were always so good. They did it numerous times, but every single time I was like,
I know.
fuck!
It always was good. It was so good. Yeah.
So good. And I was comparing it to, in my mind, to Kuroko, just because Kuroko's my favorite manga. Where it was always Kuroko who was the one behind the character, so he was the shadow. And so having a character who's the small one being the like forefront instead of the one behind, I don't know if that just made it even more cool to me because it was so different. But it was always just awesome.
Yeah, I really liked that match for that as well. The other match felt very Kageyama focused, and this match felt very much about Hinata and like figuring out who he is on the team. One thing I will say though is that at least in what we read, we didn't have nearly enough of the moments that that reminded us that he's not very good at volleyball.
Yeah.
They kept saying it, right? Like his teammates would be like, well, I mean, Hinata's garbage. And I'd be like, we've just seen him crushing it. Like literally every time we've shown him in the last 10 chapters, he's absolutely crushing it. So I'm glad that they're not acting like he's suddenly perfect in terms of their interactions, but in terms of what they show us, he doesn't make mistakes really. Or when he does, they're like miscommunications or they're very minor. So it's interesting to me that they are continuing to say, hey, by the way, he does still suck. He's just really fast and jumps high. Okay.
It feels like they're always using him serving is when they're like, oh, he's so bad. Look at him serve. And they mess up the serve. And it's like, okay, he messed that up. But there's a lot of people who aren't good at serving, so.
Yeah.
It was definitely a moment too for Asahi, for old looking boy. Intimidating teddy bear.
I love him.
Having him go against them was obviously the big, like, he needs to get this confidence back for it to keep going.
Yeah, I think it was in the Iron Wall match when he had his first big, like, he's the ace moment. I loved the panel. That was a bunch of people in the crowd like, I heard he got held back 5 years in a row. And all of them like stabbing him in the back. And his teammates like, stay strong. Don't listen to them.
We love you.
We love you. It's fine.
Just like how they have to constantly reassure him is so funny. Like and then he gets introduced to somebody and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's so intimidating and scary." And then his teammates are like, "Don't pass out. It's okay. They're just saying hi. It's okay."
But he even acknowledged that the reason he started dressing and like grew out his hair that way is because he wanted to be more intimidating. And now that he is more intimidating, he's like, no, I'm not scared.
I like it.
I don't like it.
What did I do? We did get a new manager, a little manager girl, Yachi. I liked how she was introduced during the like studying part, so that she was able to come in and show that she is really smart, and give her personality a little bit moment to shine, where it's not easily overshadowed by a match that was happening. So like having her come in during a moment of where it's before they're gonna get really rigorous with their training, having her come in where it's a little bit, she's allowed to breathe as a character for a few chapters before she gets thrown in, and having her be so happy about her little jacket is so cute.
Yeah.
I like that we got to see like what her like home life is like a little bit too, because the way that she got recruited was she's not in a club, so she doesn't do anything school related, and the school's kind of like, maybe you should.
That's
try
weird in
doing
Japan,
something.
isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, hey. But like, I don't know, I guess it's like, it also shows how endearing the manager is, just because it's like she's super pretty, and I mean most people are intimidated by her because she's, again, really pretty, and so everybody's like, I can't talk to her, which you kind of see like their interactions together in this was just like, she was just like, oh my gosh, an older classmate, how like so pretty, can I even talk to her, what's happening?
So intimidating. There was another thing you said that made me like kind of surprised that they even brought it up, but when Yachi comes in to meet the boys for the first time, Nishinoya and Buzzcut get really shy instead of all sorts. Every other manga, it's always like, oh my god, there's a girl here, immediately hit on her, immediately be like in love and make her feel really uncomfortable. But this time both of them were just like really shy, and then somebody even says, wow, you don't hit on every single girl you see. It's like, that's an interesting, the fact that they like actually not acknowledge that. Who is so far your favorite character? There's so many of them.
I have many.
I know.
You know, people are always like, you only have one husbando, one waifu. No, I don't care about those rules. I don't play by those rules. I have tons.
Yeah.
For this manga, I feel like I'm really biased towards Ushijima, because he's the one that that Aoba Josai was like, oh, we gotta beat them because they always lose to them. So he's the captain of that team, and he's getting featured on magazines and like he's going places. Okay, look,
he's going places.
Which also, that reminds me, I loved that there was that chapter where they're like talking about him, and he's like, hey, Hinata's like, hey, I think this area is like where the captain Ushijima is from. And then he's just like running by them, and he's just like, wait, what'd you say about me? What the fuck? What are you doing here? Oh, that was so funny.
And Hinata has that epic moment of just fucking grabbing the volleyball before he can hit it. It's like, fuck yeah.
But yeah, I love Ushijima just because he's like a dude that's super hyper focused on volleyball, like everybody else, but he's just like, I don't know. He just seems like the kind of person who just he's a himbo. He has himbo vibes. I'm just waiting for it.
That is your weakness.
It is my weakness. I'm just like, this idiot just cares about volleyball and doesn't know how to interact with other people because he only focuses on volleyball.
Volleyball. It's
so that's
true.
my favorite.
I love it. Dukes, what about you? Do you have a fave?
Sorry, a fave volley boy.
Yeah, volley boy.
I don't know.
It's okay
I
if
don't
you don't.
I don't really yet.
Yeah.
But some of the character interactions I really like when certain characters interact.
Mm-hmm.
I like when Tall Mean Boy and Kageyama interact because they just hate each other, but they both really want to win. So I'm like, I just want over time, I want them to build up like a rapport that doesn't exist yet, you know? I love shit like that. So right now, yeah, it's less that I like any of the characters much more than anybody else. Actually, if I were to say that there was somebody that I enjoy the most, it would be short dude.
Nishinoya?
Short second year. Yeah.
Nishinoya? Yeah, he's really good. I like him too.
He's great. He's just like a little ball of chaos.
Yeah.
I like it.
Me too. Yeah, I like him. He's probably up there as my favorite. And I like Suga because he's the kind of character that I'm just like, oh,
he's a good boy. I love him too.
He's a good boy. I really like on the other team the captain for the other team. We didn't get to see him a whole lot this one, but I really like them. But like you said, Dodger, the character interactions are what make the characters for me too.
Yeah.
We also had, just a really side note before, and then we can jump into art. We had Yamaguchi, little freckle boy, come in to serve, and he had this really big moment, and then he didn't make it. He biffed it, which I was like, that's so good for story reasons. I know.
Yeah. If he had crushed it, it would have been so unbelievable.
Yes.
I love that he went out there petrified and whiffed it and then had to go sit back down.
Yes. Because it's so realistic.
Like, he's going to get stronger after this.
Yeah.
I know it.
I believe.
Should we talk about art?
Yeah.
Go for it.
You go.
I really liked the art. Yeah, it's very good. It's really clean. It's messy when it means to be messy. I think when we first started reading it, it was more like, yeah, the art's pretty good. The really important, powerful moments, you know, when Hinata's about to like really crush that slam, those were the moments that looked really clean, and then the rest was like pretty all right. And I felt like basically everything that we read this section was good. It all looked really good. So yeah, I have high hopes that as we get further and further in, there's going to be, you know, those 2-page splashes where you're like, what? That looks incredible. Yeah, I thought the art was really good. Aside from, I just still get characters mixed up.
Yeah.
I think too many of them have like the same hairstyle or the same face or whatever.
They all make the same serious, like, fishy face. Like, when it's from the side, they all have literally the exact same,
like, profile.
Forehead, yeah, forehead shape, nose shape, chin, everything is literally symmetrical.
There are lots of frames that have like two people side by side, and in those moments I can be like, oh, they've got like different eye shapes and like different eyebrows and blah 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 blah. But for some reason, when it's in the thick of it, there's still so many characters that I get mixed up.
Yeah.
And I think that's another issue that probably is fixed by watching the anime, because you have the added element of like color. So it probably helps quite a bit to differentiate people because you don't have a bunch of, jerseys all looking the same and hair all looking like it's the same color and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
Something that I really love about the art is the fact that the mangaka doesn't take numerous panels to show the action happening. They show it literally in the same panel. So things like Hinata moving from one side of the court to the next, they do it where they're showing like a flip book, like it's every single like movement within the same frame, and it doesn't like it takes a little bit to get used to, I think. But once it starts getting into the flow, it just looks so good, and you're just getting an understanding about exactly what's going to happen. Like the moment where they face off against Himbo Boy, and Hinata like jumps into 3 different positions before jumping up. And every single one was clean and looked so cool. So you got the exact knowledge about how he was moving. And I think that just made it a lot more dynamic and engaging. And then another thing I really liked is that we see, because volleyball, there is a lot going on. Like that ball is moving so quick. The players are in different positions. So like 1 millisecond to the next millisecond, they're all over the place. And I think the mangaka does a really good job of having the background be as important, like almost as important as the foreground in a lot of stuff when it needs to be. And so we're constantly seeing every character moving around. Like there's stuff going on, but they still balance it with the most important part is this part in this frame or this part in this panel. And I think that's a really impressive thing to be able to do. I like it.
You nailed it. I don't know what to say. The art look is good. Yeah, I think between like the first part and then this part that we read, the art's definitely improved. So I'm glad to see that, and I'm excited to see how it evolves, because there's like 40 something volumes now, I think.
Yeah, there's like
400 something chapters. Yeah, there's a lot of chapters. So I can't imagine like how much it's gonna evolve if it changed as much as it did between like these 2 parts.
Yeah. She's so cute. I haven't seen her in forever.
Yeah.
Aw.
Do you want to say hi? No. Okay.
No. Okay. That's okay. Yeah. Here's a question for either you guys or for chat, for whoever would know. Is the dub good?
I feel like they take a lot of liberties in some stuff. So it comes, for some people who are like purists about it, I could see where they could be like, why did they translate it this way when
Interesting.
it comes off as really memey.
Oh, really?
Yes. Which I'm okay with.
Can't imagine. Sorry, keep going.
Because some of the characters are just like, I mean, they do really funny things in the manga. So for me, it's just like, it makes sense that they would make the lingo more memey.
Right.
So for me, I didn't mind that. I found it hilarious. And so that's my take on it.
I didn't realize she's wearing Erin's heels.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that clomping noise? And then I saw her go in the back door and I was like, oh my god, she's wearing Erin's heels. It's amazing.
She dresses up as Elsa, and Elsa has high heels. So
I see.
She needed,
and she needs high heels, Mom.
Which she has learned pretty well how to walk in, but they're
I was
very
gonna say
loud.
she didn't fall. So
No.
Yeah.
yeah, because at this point there's so much Haikyuu to watch that I would love to be able to, be crocheting or stitching or something and put it on and not, if I have to look down, not miss a bunch of shit.
Mhm.
So if the dub is good, I'd like to try the dub at least. But if the dub is
I
really
would say-
cringy and weird, maybe not. I don't know.
I would say try it and
Okay.
then see, because I like the voices, but yeah, there are some translation. They took some translation liberties. where I'm just
Okay.
like,
Oh,
Alright.
interesting.
we in there.
I'm trying to remember, Aaron, do you remember when we were watching Yu Yu Hakusho and we tried the dub because everybody was like, the Yu Yu Hakusho dub's amazing. And there was a scene where we were like, surely that is not what they fucking say. That kid, what was it?
I know exactly. It was after he got hit by the car. So I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about, but I don't remember what
It was the EMTs, right? The EMTs
Yeah.
like come in and get him, and they're like, "Well, got another one. Whoopsie doopsie."
Yeah.
Like some kind of weird shit like that. Like,
wanna
whoops,
get him to the hospital.
another dead boy. Yuck, yuck, yuck. We were like, no. So. That mom life, I love it.
Sorry, I can't see.
Yu Yu Hakusho dub is peak dub. We
Peak
couldn't
90s
watch it.
dub.
Yeah, it was really hard for us to watch. We swapped to the subtitle, but I understand why so many people love it.
Yeah.
But thinking of a dub that takes a lot of liberties, like my first thought is a Yu Yu Hakusho.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
There was one of my
Yeah.
favorite like dub taking liberties is the old like very early seasons of Dragon Ball Z when they like had to censor stuff, and so at one
Mhm.
point in clomp 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 clomp.
it's fine.
At one point you see an helicopter explode, and then it cuts to like Tien or Amcha or something, and they just go,
Yeah.
they go, "It's okay, I see the parachutes. They're all
I see the
okay."
parachutes.
Oh,
I
goodness.
forgot about that. Yes.
So good. Should
Good stuff.
we wrap up and give our final thoughts and ratings?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. I think I'm going to give this section a 6.7. I think a 7. And because I love the art. I think it's really top tier. I thought we learned a lot about the characters, and I really loved their interactions, and they're starting to get more defined personalities and the growth. I did thoroughly love every match, specifically the end one that we saw. And I thought the tension ramped up and that it was finally starting to really nail how to create a good sports manga. And so I think it's gonna just keep getting better and better. I do think I'm a little like biased because I've seen the anime and I'm having a really hard time just like
Separating
them. But I still think it's about a 7 for this section that we've read. So I really enjoyed it, reading it for sure.
Yeah, I would give it a 6, I think. I do like the characters and I'm interested in them. I think the art is fantastic. It makes me want to watch the anime. So it's not like it was all negative for me. Definitely not. I still enjoyed reading it. It was just that for me, I still got really lost in the details of like what was going on in the matches. I could tell how people were moving, but I couldn't tell why they were moving in certain ways or like what was being discussed about how they were playing. None of that made any sense to me. So I think those aspects, like the match aspects of Haikyuu, I would get a lot more out of watching them happen in motion. So I definitely want to watch the anime. I want to take the time to do that. The manga is okay for me. I do think that it has the potential to get better because this section was definitely better than the last section, I think. But Yeah, it's definitely not perfect. It's just got some fun characters, and it's a sports manga, and those are fun. So basically it.
All right. My boy Ushijima showed up, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It was good. I got to see character interactions. I got to learn little tidbits about certain characters in this. Also, I did want to talk more about Sachi just a little bit.
Yeah.
Or not Sachi, Yachi.
Yeah.
I really liked that she fuck, what did they say? She was just like villager B can be cool again. That's how the chapter ended basically, where she's like she's just a normal girl. She has like nothing special about her, or I guess it's better to put it that she hasn't found like that one thing that she's super passionate about and that she knows she can put her all into. And so it's like really cool getting to see her like get to that point in this. And so I thought it was really endearing that you get to see like that she's just like, oh, like Shimizu is like so pretty and I'm just normal. I have nothing special. And it's just like, oh, I feel you. I love you. Please like learn to love yourself more.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah. So again, I love the characters. So 7 out of 10.
Perfect. Cool. That wraps up our discussion about Haikyuu. Hang on, I have one little thing. Wait, no.
Yeah. Without the music, it's so disconcerting.
Anyway, that wraps up our discussion of Haikyuu, chapters 37 through 77. I'm going to go ahead and read the description of the manga that we are reading. In 2 weeks, we are taking a break. Next week's we will be not here. And then we are going to come back on whatever the week after next week is. The date.
Yeah.
April 2nd?
Beginning of
something like that?
April 5th.
Yeah.
April 5th.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Many years ago, the last remnants of humanity were forced to retreat behind the blank walls of fortified... Don't know why I bleeped that word. It didn't help anything. To escape the massive blanks that roam the land outside the fortress. Only the heroic members of the blank dared to stray beyond the safety of the blank, but even those blanks seldom returned alive. Those within a city clung to the illusion of a peaceful existence until the day that dream was shattered, and their slim chance of survival was reduced to one horrifying choice: kill or be blank.
Yes, chat.
Attack on Titan. Yep.
It's been so long.
It's been somebody today commented.
Sorry.
Somebody today out of nowhere commented on that Kuroko no Basuke Attack on Titan video I made. I was like, how did you find this?
Oh.
This has not been relevant for a very long time. But yeah, we're going to be reading. Hang on. I had it pulled up and then it was gone. Chapters 72 through 86. We're going to be reading that. Finally, there is more Attack on Titan for us to check out. So that's what we're going to be doing. Go ahead. Should we shout out our stuff really quick? I'm Erin of Happily Erin YouTube channels. Happily Erin, all the previous manga pods are hosted there, as well as mental health awareness, anime reviews, anime first impressions, all that stuff. I haven't been active with that. I've been currently writing a book, which this next draft is done and sent to beta readers, which has been really cool. If you want to follow me on other social media, I'm pretty active on Instagram and Twitter, where I talk about Thai dramas that I am obsessed with, as well as currently The Untamed, which I'm also very obsessed with. And so if you want to come talk about that sort of obscure thing that no one else I know really watches, come chat with me. Happily Aaron.
Hi guys, I'm Dodger. You can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything. I stream, I play games, I chat, and my daughter started cloth diapers today, so who knows? If you want to find out how that goes, tune in to my social media. I'm sure I'll complain about them at some point. Basically, the first time she poops in one, it's probably just gonna be me like, oh my god.
Oh no.
But yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys.
Yeah, hello, dear ma'am or sir. I am Moika. I do game streaming. My YouTube's primarily right now just like little indie games that I check out, and I upload the playthroughs there. My social media right now is like, it's about to be cosplay stuff because I'm quarantining myself just for my safety. And so I'm gonna be doing like little makeup work in progresses for Suyu from My Hero Academia. So if you're interested,
Yeah.
there. Instagram at it's basically all at Megamoiga. If not, go to the MangaPod site, mangapod.carrd.co. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, was it .com or does it say no .co, not .com? And so yeah, check that out. I might stream that later today. So if you're interested.
Ooh, cool. You guys can also check out Lou, who's not here today. He's Lou Talks Anime on Twitter. I think Lou Talks Anime on YouTube as well. But like Moika said, if you go to the MangaPod website, then the links to all his stuff will be there as well. So yeah, we have the website. We also have a subreddit, reddit.com/r/mangapod. We are also streaming, like we said earlier, on audio, so iTunes and Spotify. If you would like to go ahead and check us out on there, you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, which is MangaPod. I think Instagram is MangaPod Official. So go ahead and follow us on all of the stuff. And again, we will be here same time, same date, all that fun stuff next week. We will be reading Attack on Titan chapters 72 through 86. We can't wait to see you. Bye.
Yay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.